Brandon sleepwalked at night and jumped from the 6th floor. Tori heard the sound and came out to check. At this moment Brandon came to the warehouse and broke the chain of the cellar. There was a red glow in the cellar. Tori came here and saw Brandon's body, hanging in the air, chanting strange spells from his mouth. With Tori yelling loudly, Brandon was awakened. Brandon fell into the cellar and got scratched. This is Brandon's first injury. It was the ship that scratched Brandon. Tori reveals the truth. It turns out that Brandon is not from the Earth, but landed on the Earth with the spaceship. The truth completely overturned Brandon's worldview. He kept smashing things. He couldn't accept this fact. The next day, Brandon weeded the fields with a lawn mower. But no matter how hard he pulled the mower, it just didn't work. Brandon threw the machine away as soon as he exerted himself. Brandon was shocked. Brandon came to the lawn mower, looked at the high-speed rotation of the machine, and put his hand in it. And Brandon's hand was not injured, but the machine was damaged. When he got back, Brandon chewed his spoon until it was out of shape. Kyle was stunned. Tori cleans up Brandon's room and finds something. Kyle thought it was Brandon's puberty. Kyle told Brandon some knowledge during the hunt, but Brandon got it wrong. In the evening, Brandon came to Caitlin's room. Brandon said something to Caitlin that made Caitlin cry. Caitlin's mom arrives, in time to scare Brandon away. On the school playground, Brandon was pushed to the ground by his classmates. Because of what happened last night, Caitlin didn't want to touch Brandon, and said Brandon was a pervert. The teacher asked Caitlin to help Brandon up. Brandon saw Caitlin's disgusted expression. Brandon grabbed Caitlin's hand. The incident drew the attention of the school, and Caitlin's mother said Brandon should be taken away by the police. But Erica didn't know what she got into. In the heavy rain, Brandon vented his grievances. Brandon muttered a strange spell, and then his eyes were red, and he was fully awakened. This is a symbol of death. As long as it appears, someone will die. Horrified, Erica looked at the flickering lights. The lamp suddenly shattered, hurting Erica's eyes. Erica saw a figure flash by. Erica hid in the freezer, thinking it would be safe. The thick iron gate was split in half. The next day, Constable Deaver discovered the strange symbol during an investigation. On the other side, Melly is doing psychological counseling for Brandon. Parents will be informed if Brandon behaves badly. This made Brandon hate Melly. At night, Brandon hides at Melly's house wearing a hood, which surprises Noah. Noah took Brandon to find Brandon's parents. Brandon put the headgear back on and threw Noah out. Noah hurriedly drove to escape. Noah and the car were hoisted into the air and fell down. Mysterious symbols were also left at the scene. Tori told Brandon the news about Noah, but he was expressionless. Kyle realized that something was unusual, so he confronted Brandon angrily. Kyle was pushed away by Brandon. Kyle realized the seriousness of the matter. Kyle finds bloody shoes and clothes in Brandon's room. Kyle took the shotgun and aimed it at Brandon. Kyle pulled the trigger. But Brandon was alright. Brandon stood up and looked at Kyle. Kyle ran around shivering. Suddenly, Kyle was knocked to the ground. Brandon looks like a superhero in a red hood. Brandon grabbed Kyle, ignored Kyle's pleas, and killed Kyle directly. On the other hand, Policeman Deaver came to Tori's door and asked Tori if he knew the mysterious symbols. Tori replied calmly. After Deaver left, Tori came to Brandon's room immediately. Tori took out a book full of symbols from Brandon's school bag, which filled the whole process of Brandon's crime. If that was the case, Kyle's life was probably in danger. Tori hurriedly called Kyle, but Brandon's cold voice responded to Tori. Brandon said, "You'll be next." Brandon, who returned home, wanted to destroy it all. The police who just arrived turned into scum. Tori escapes through the window, sees the blood on his hands, and thinks that only the spaceship can hurt Brandon. Tori ran towards the warehouse. Tori removed a piece of debris from the spaceship, and as soon as he turned around, Brandon found Tori. Tori tried to awaken Brandon's kind side, and Brandon gradually calmed down under Tori's influence. Brandon started apologizing. The next moment, Tori raised the sickle in his hand. Tori's behavior made Brandon angry. Brandon picked up Tori and flew into the air. Then Brandon let go at 10,000 meters in the air. At this time, a plane flew over. A plane crash overshadows Brandon's crimes. None of the passengers on board survived, and only this mysterious symbol remained at the scene. And Brandon will continue to hide on Earth until he completes his mission.